Thank you for staying with your world on NTV this morning. We want to shift gears a bit and, of course, take and continue our assessment of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the country's economy. And this time around, we want to look at the food processing sector specifically. And with me in studio to help us with this discussion this morning is Joseph Choge. He's the CEO of Premier Foods, which is indeed, of course, the name behind the Peptang and Orchid Valley brands and other brands which are in the market. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Yeah.
Let's start here and with the brands, because every time you hear Premier Foods, you don't know that that brand that you love in the market, that Peptang, that Orchid Valley is actually behind it. Yeah. Just talk to us about maybe Premier Foods and what other brands you have in the market.
Yeah, like you rightly put it,
Yeah.
I'm in one of those companies where the brand name is actually bigger than the company name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Peptang is actually much bigger than, you know, Premier Foods. Nobody will probably know Premier Foods Limited.
Yeah, they think it's some sort of a startup somewhere.
Exactly, you know. So Premier Foods Limited is part of the Aga Khan Development Network. It's been there since 1935. So this is an 86-year-old company. Huge, big heritage. We have so many brands. So there's the Peptang brand, which you know, the tomato sauce and the chilies and all that. We have the Orchid Valley brand.
Okay, it's Orchid. Oh, it's not Orchid.
Yeah, okay. Not Orchid. Right. Orchid. Yeah. So the Orchid Valley brand is our juice brand that's taking the market by storm, actually.
Yeah.
Processed naturally, locally. And then we have the Pep brand, which we have myriad of products under Pep as well, like the dilute to drink, you know, the squash that you used to take to school. Yes. So we have that. We have a brand now, a new brand called Recharge, which is where the dawa drink is, of ginger, lemon, and honey. Yes, we are trying to kick out the Rona from this country. Yeah,
very healthy.
Yeah.
And let's start here then, because I mentioned earlier on the issue of COVID-19, because for the last a year and a half now, virtually no sector has actually been spared. And for you guys, during that period, we saw the restaurants being closed, hotels being closed, and this is where actually perhaps a huge part of your client base would ideally come from. Just talk to us about the wider impact of COVID-19, especially on this sector and your operations.
Yeah, there's been actually a huge impact for, you know, most businesses across, and we've not been spared either. If you look at, say, the hotel industry, which is a sector we supply a lot of our food products, right? Most hotels down in the coast or across the country have actually had to close down or scale down operation. That means that the part of our produce that we actually send to that segment of the market, we call it the HoReCas, hotels, restaurants, and canteens. Has actually gone down significantly. But now it's a question of whether you stay there and pity yourself, or you actually have to innovate to be able to cover that kind of gap that comes as a result of such, you know, problems. I'll tell you, for example,
what a smart businessman would do.
Yes, exactly, exactly. You don't just sit there and start crying, Corona is here and all that. There's actually, if you look at it keenly, there's opportunity amidst adversity, right? For example, I just spoke about the dawa drink. It's a drink that has just hit the shelves, I think, about 2 or 3 months ago. But it's something that we actually thought about as soon as Corona hit the...
Is it cold or warm?
So it's up to you. It's ready to drink. It's in ambient temperature. But you can actually take it.
And warm it?
Warm it. You can take it as it is. You can even chill it and take it. You can even use it as a mixer in your drink. You know.
So very versatile.
Exactly. It was a timely kind of intervention in line with what people are taking. I know I'm trying to save you the time. When you get home, I know today, the first thing you go and just start boiling ginger, lemon, and honey. You know, don't do that. I got you.
I think I like that. But really, if you go to the supermarket today, you'll see thousands and a whole line of juice products and a whole line of, you know, tomato paste and all that. So it's one of those sectors you'd call very hotly competitive. So how do you distinguish yourself in such a market?
Yes, like you rightly put, it's a cutthroat kind of competition in this sector. Many players have come in for both the juices, sauces, like you mentioned, tomato paste and all that. But you see, having been there 86 years and anchoring ourselves from a point of quality, we we consider ourselves a home of quality.
Yeah.
So that's the center of what we do. And the only thing I normally say is, I want my consumer to just taste my product, and he'll never think about anything else. Okay. You know?
But part of that competition also comes from imported products, and sometimes this whole issue of the cost of production can become a problem. If you look at something like eggs, for instance, an egg could go for 13 shillings here, but because our neighbors there have cheaper feeds, their eggs go for 10, and it doesn't mean that the quality is compromised.
Right.
So you end up with imports of products that are of good quality, and are cheaper in the market.
No, you're right. And you know, it all boils down to the infrastructure and the cost of production within the country, right? And that's where the government needs to step in to ensure that the environment is actually conducive for manufacturers to be able to process their produce, right? If I look, for example, some products will come from Egypt and land in Kenya much cheaper than we actually have, probably because of the subsidized electricity they get there. So my plea would always be to the Kenyans, we buy Kenya and build our own. Because every dollar that goes outside the country means that, I mean, it's a dollar gone. It will never come back. But a dollar that is spent within the country means that will circulate within the economy. That farmer down there will also get, you know, to be able to continue his produce. Okay. As long as the consumption is within the country.
All right. Yeah. So, but now that we have all this imports and other bigger brands in the market, by the way, which, as you mentioned, cut through competition, where do you stand in the market at the moment?
So, from sauces, we are the market leaders in sauces, and we've maintained that for the longest period of time, and we intend to maintain that position as long as we continue innovating.
Allow me, actually, because of that innovating thing, because I mean, I know the Kenyan consumers to be sometimes a bit, you know, the desires change very quickly. So how do you stay, the leader in the market for that long?
Yeah, you have to put your ear on the ground, at any point in time. Just get the feedback of what the market wants. Kenya is shifting. The Kenyan consumer is becoming more and more health conscious, right? So what are the solutions you're going to give that consumer to be able to know that whatever he's taking is healthy? You know, in the advent of all these, you know, diseases, the cancers and all this. So how do you protect your consumer and ensure that the consumer has confidence that the product you're actually giving them is actually healthy for them to take? So that's how we anchor ourselves. We position ourselves from first take feedback from the customer. Today, for example, instead of going, most of us, we like probably going kwa mtaa kula mutura, you know, and you get that kachumbari that is cut all there. Then I come and think, how can I be able to give a hygienic product to that market? And we came up with the kachumbari sauce, for example, you know. So it's about putting your ear down and just getting to know the needs of the consumer and actually responding accordingly. Because at the end of the day, the customer is the king, right? You have to, you know, comply to what the customer wants.
All right. So how about the juices?
So the juices is the same thing. For example, our Orchid Valley range of juices, So Orchid Valley, I like to call it OV. So OV is...
That's such a cool name.
So OV is, you know, a product made in Kenya. So I squeeze all the mango, for example, from Ukambani. I get mangoes from Ukambani. We get mangoes from Hola in the coast and across the country, right? And we come in our Ruraka plant at Babadogo. We crush, so we have a whole supply chain from end to end. I want to assure you that you can actually trace it from the farm all the way to that table, the glass on your table. So we have a crushing plant, removes the seeds and all that, gets the juice. Then we go to the process of, you know, packing the whole juice without any preservatives, and be able to bring for you a quality fruit, you know, product, all natural for you.
Where do you stand in the market at the moment? It'll come to the issue of the ingredients.
So now, from and I like a very young, versatile marketing team that we have in our organization. We were nowhere 2 or 3 years back. Today, I'm a close number 3, right? Brilliant. And I'm telling you, as people go for elections next year, trying to select someone, I'm busy ensuring how I'm going to kick out the number 1, number 2 in the market.
All right.
So watch this space.
Wonderful. But really, going back to the issue of the ingredients and getting the mangoes from the coast and Ukambani, the bigger problem here is indeed, and we've seen it in the market, by the way, the issue of you're drinking juice, which ideally should come from fruit. But there's not even a single fruit that was involved in the process.
Yes, exactly. And so, you know, having a trusted name, right? as an organization, you cannot be able to think of even tainting that reputation that you have. So for that reason, you know, I like inviting people like you to come to the plant and actually see the entire process, you know, see how that mango is being squeezed or the passion fruit is being squeezed. Yeah, we take the yellow passion, for example, quite sweet, you know, and how you see the process, the packing process and all that, to ensure that you actually have the fruit content that we actually declare that is on the pack. And you know, we have bodies that actually regulate us, the likes of Kenya Bureau of Standards, yeah, and we always have to have, you know, interactions with them, coming to just check that the process is actually adhered to. So yeah, you can actually take it to the bank that it's full of fruit as you do the process.
And maybe in a market where other people are not using genuine products and fruits, how does this affect like the pricing of this commodity?
Yeah, that is actually a very big thorn in the flesh at the moment. Yeah? So there are people like us who want to do the right thing and ensure the right thing is done.
Yeah.
But you see, quality has to come with a certain price, right? It tends to be more expensive.
You have to price it.
You have to price it because you're using natural product. Then there are these guys who come to the market and actually spoil the market because they're using chemicals or
and they sell a liter for 30 bob.
Let's sell a liter for 30. How do you compete with such a guy? And you know, the problem is the share of the wallet at the moment is so, you know, the Kenyan consumer's wallet is so thin at the moment.
They always go over, I mean, for quantity over quality.
Exactly, quantity over quality.
And the price.
The price. We are becoming a more price-driven market as opposed to brand and quality-driven market. So for me, is to just sensitize the Kenyan consumer, just check the pack. What are you taking, right? And just know the reputation of the company that you're taking the products from, as opposed to just taking any Tom, Dick, and Harry that's just coming to your face because of price. What are you compromising in the end? Your health is very, very, very important. Yeah.
And I think that's very important because sometimes we don't really get to see these things. And the market is somehow moving now to a situation where people are a bit more conscious about their health.
Correct.
They start to care about, I mean, does it have sugars? Does it have real sugars? Or does it have added, what you'd call fats or whatnot?
Right.
So how does it augur for you now that we have consumers who are a bit conscious about what they consume?
Yeah, and you know, for us to anchor this business and to ensure, you know, we've gotten this business, it's been there since 1935, right? How can I and my team and I ensure that it's there for posterity, right? We have to position the company for the future. The future dictates that there has to be a Peptang health kind of segment where products that go out to the market are actually healthy for the consumer and they can be there for the longevity, right?
Yeah.
And that confidence is what will drive us into the future today. So for us, we are very conscious and deliberate about ensuring that the product that comes out is, you know, a healthy product, so that I'm not with you for the relationship today. You take my juice, you put it down there, and you're probably not there tomorrow. It's a journey that it's almost like a marriage, a forever marriage between ourselves, right?
And I speak to people every day. You hear people, I don't drink tea with sugar. I don't do that. I don't do this.
Exactly.
So does that mean that perhaps you guys need to more evolve, perhaps towards, I don't know, to in response to this changing consumer needs?
Yes. For example, I'll tell you. For example, the dawa drink. The dawa drink would easily put sugar as you know, as a sweetener.
Yeah.
Right. But honey is expensive.
Yeah.
Honey is very expensive,
very
especially now.
Very expensive, I can tell you.
But because of that health consciousness, we put all natural honey, and of course the ginger and lemon, or you know, to just ensure that all these elements of sugar and things that are being, we actually meet the demands of that segment of the market, right? So there'll be products that will have sugar, okay, unavoidably.
Yeah.
But then we have to have a segment of products where the consumer can have a choice to more healthier, you know, brands. Right? Okay.
Yeah. So that means you have to go big into research and product development.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the future. I call it NPD, New Product Development Team and Innovations Team.
Yeah.
Has to be constantly innovating, thinking outside the box. How do I bring to you a tasteful product yet very healthy? You know, many people say Kenyans have a sweet tooth, right?
Yeah.
They like the sugar. In fact, like the ready-to-drink juice.
Yeah.
most ready-to-drink juice in the market would tend to have a lot of sugar, right? And as Kenyans move towards the Tetra range, the Orchid Valley kind of range, a bit pricier because of the more natural ingredients. The question is, how do we reduce sugars from those pre-existing products? So that's the work of the NPD team, the new product development team, and the innovations team to ensure that I still appeal to your taste buds because you like it something sweet. But at the same time, give you a healthy, range of products.
Okay, I'd like to take you back to the issue of how the market is regulated, because we have people indeed, what they see that, let's say, Peptang or Orchid Valley has said, we're using real fruits, and they also say they write down this was manufactured from a real fruit, several ingredients there, which if you are to sit down and actually test the product, none of it is actually there.
Exactly. So that's where the regulator comes in. The likes of Kenya Bureau of Standards. They need to walk the talk because they've put the standards in place. They need to do those, going to the shelves, take the products, take the labs, find out if whatever is being declared is actually what is is the content of the...
And I've seen with flour, by the way.
Exactly.
Where people say it's fortified with what not, but every time you test,
nothing, right? And it's imperative of those regulatory bodies to ensure that such companies actually shut down, to avoid cases of, you see now there'll be cases of consumer mistrust to organizations. Some people are trying to do the right thing, but because other people
it gets labeled as the entire industry, easy juices, zinakwanga sukai, zinakwanga fake zote.
Exactly. Remember, I'll take you, for example, during the issue of aflatoxin in peanut butter at some point, right? As they were removing all the peanut butter from the shelf, Peptang peanut butter remained.
Oh, you're also into
peanut butter, right? So it remained because, having been certified without the levels of aflatoxin that they are, they were bad, from being in the shelf. So that was a good move, to be able to protect the Kenyan consumer and actually leave those ones who are actually giving the right thing to be able to still exist in the market. And, it's such things, and sometimes it's opportunities like that some of us thrive, right? It's at that point that we actually penetrated into the Kenyan peanut butter market. So other than this fix, then what is the other bigger challenge in the market for you at the moment? So, like you mentioned earlier, the cutthroat competition still remains one of the biggest challenges. We have, in the country, I think, a lot of extra capacity for processing, a lot of things. For example, even the mangoes that you're talking about. Right now, I'm thinking of, companies, especially the counties. You'll go to Makueni, you go to, I don't know where in Thika. Everyone is trying to put up a plant to be able to, to harness all these fruits and be able to... The question I ask is, have they thought through in terms of market, in terms of, or have they gone out? The biggest opportunity would actually be for them to look at export, markets for the puree, for the pulp that they're actually extracting, right? It shouldn't be a case of for you just doing it for political reasons, but we shouldn't get to a place where we are so much capacity chasing very few fruits in the market, So that can be a challenge as well, and people end up. I've gotten calls from counties asking me to come and take their drums of, tomato puree or whatever, almost at a throwaway price because they don't have market. So it's something that people need to think end to end, from the supply chain all the way to the market, right? Other challenges within the space right now as we speak, and especially because of the corona pandemic, is we have some ingredients that we have to import from outside the country, right? And the supply chain has been messed up totally. We don't have containers somehow in the world market. Something you order that is supposed to take 30 days is now taking 90 days to get into the country. So you end up in stock out positions and you're not able to, produce and have the products out in the market.
And you've mentioned the issue of the counties throwing away fresh produce, and I've just remembered that where I live in Lower Kabete, there's a small, a neighbor of mine who actually has several trees of avocados. Which, because he does not have, let's say, 1,000 trees of avocados, which ensures that he can access the market because of the larger produce in terms of output. he just sells it for 10 shillings, 5 shillings outside the road, and it raises the challenge that most small-scale farmers actually face in this market, because sometimes you guys choose to go for that guy who has 50 acres ready of tomatoes. Okay,
so I'll tell you, for the House of Peptang, our mantra is different. We tend to work more with a small-scale guy. If you know, it's easy for us to go and hire that 50,000, 1,000 acres.
Very much easy, and just, even more efficient.
Yeah, and just more efficiently, you know.
Cost-wise.
And just, yeah, exactly. And leverage the economies of scale. But if a small-scale farmer can be able to do that, I mean, why spoil their bread and butter? Yeah, we'll be able to support them. But it's very important, like your neighbor in Kabete. You see, he's only one guy at one place, right? So there's no really a leverage in terms of economies where a collection center or something where I can be able to come and get a nice pool that makes economic sense. As opposed to me going to Kabete, tomorrow I'm going to Kitengela, or I'm going to Kitui. It won't make business sense. So in the end, we need to have these small-scale farmers, you know, forming some sort of cooperative so that they can have a sort of collection center where we can come and just pick it more efficiently. And you can also be able to monitor in terms of quality of what we are taking.
All right. All right. So, but you mentioned a very good figure. I think you said you've been in business for how many years now?
86.
86. Yeah. You may have survived the other 86 years because maybe there was not so much competition. Kenya was not very advanced in food processing. But we are now. And the competition, in your own words, is cutthroat. So do you see yourself in the market again for another 86 years?
Absolutely. And I can actually peg that to the mantra that we've put in place. You know, it's about who we are. We are the home of quality. As long as we stick to that, we continuously listen to the customer and give the customer what the customer needs. Not 86, several centuries, you'll still find the House of Peptang still, you know, going strong and partnering with farmers to ensure that, you know, we continue creating employment within the country. And we also export our produce to the far. You know, somebody was just telling me yesterday, I was with somebody in Strathmore yesterday, and they're telling me the way they carry boxes of chili, Peptang chili, to go to UK.
It's one of those things that people ask you, come on, are you coming to the UK? You come to the US, please bring this for me.
It's a heritage brand. It's a brand you've grown up with, and we're gonna continue making it your sweetheart for the rest.
And now that you mentioned it, the UK and other overseas market, have you ever considered going outside the country?
We are outside the country.
Really?
We supply, we are in the UK as well, Australia, in the Middle East, Qatar, Dubai, and of course, about 90% of our export is actually in East Africa, the Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania.
That's for the Peptang or both?
Every product that we sell. Peptang, sauces, Orchid Valley, the Recharge, you know, the canned beans, peanut butter, you name it. All of them go to all these markets.
All right, that's very important then. So for anyone who's watching today, any consumer, they're always worried about the safety of these things because you know what? I mean, in Kenya, there's always that aspect of you can't trust these things. These things have been processed. It's not good for your health. Just talk to them right now because they're listening.
What I would like to say is this is your brand. This Peptang has been there since time immemorial. And the only reason we've been there is because we've always anchored ourselves on quality. Today, when you take that product, if you were to put your ketchup or tomato sauce on your chips, or take the Orchid Valley juice or Peptang peanut butter, just know that we've taken the highest level of, you know, quality inputs in an hygienic environment and ensure that quality is actually at the heart of what you're taking. We care for your health as much, you know, as we care for, you know, the institution. And I'm the #1 consumer, you know, of our products. So,
and for those of us who love the product but are a bit ish because the price, you know, it's too much.
So sometimes you have to pay a little bit premium to get a quality product. For me to use a natural product and ingredients, it has to come at a cost. If you go and get the cheap product, I want you to ask yourself the question, how can it be so cheap, you know? And I'm not saying that we are the most expensive and out of reach, but I'm saying it has to be a little bit of a premium just to take care of the element of quality.
Not one of those buy one, get 3 free.
You know, those ones you can always do once in a while to introduce a new product or anything, of course you've tasted. But anybody who's just giving you some crazy things, then you need to ask yourself, why?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Give us your closing remarks in 40 seconds.
So today, in fact, I wake up every day to try push that tomato sauce, that Orchid Valley juice, or the dawa drink, Richard Dawa.
Yeah.
Thinking about how do we impact the Kenyan farmer and take $1 to go home every day. I'm one of those people who've come from the small scale farmer who has to take their children to school.
Makes two of us now.
Makes two of us, right? And when I wake up every day, the question is, have I increased my turnover so that I can increase the pool that I'm getting from that farmer? So every day that you go to that shelf and pick that Orchid Valley juice or pick that Peptang tomato sauce, let's know the impact that we're actually doing for that child, probably barefoot somewhere, who wants to someday rise to be a young CEO like Joseph.
All right.
So let's go out, let's support, and just know that every time you pick the Peptang product, you're picking quality.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It says every time you pick it, you're picking quality. And that's where we have to wrap it up. This last segment of our conversation today has been on the ongoing impact, of course, of COVID-19 on the economy and specifically the food processing sector. This morning, many thanks, of course, to Joseph Choge. He is the CEO of Premier Foods, which is, of course, the name of the company behind your usual brands like Peptang, Orchid Valley, and what is now calling Richard Dawa.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's where we leave it this week from me and the entire team. We hope you have thoroughly enjoyed the show as we have. And it's goodbye for now. We see you again on Monday. But keep watching. I've been your host, Victor Kiprop.